founder of the Red Renaissance PAC, Kimberly Klacik. Kim, great to see you. Amanda, Jack, great to have you with us as well. This is the same John Kerry that openly criticized President Trump guys for not wearing a mask. If you don't remember it, here's the clip.
You cannot have a president of the United States setting an example for people not having a mask and then making it into a political issue.
Well, it's all about setting examples, Kim. You know, John Kerry, the perfect example, said we should all follow John Kerry's lead.
I know, right? I thought it was interesting because number one, I hate wearing the mask. So if he's pulling his mask down, maybe this means that we can get together for the 4th of July, even though President Biden was telling us it might not be a possibility. But just, interesting enough, I was on American Airlines flight yesterday, and everyone was talking about the fact that you could not move your mask whatsoever. So it's interesting to me. But what's also going on in this situation, in my opinion, is classism. In American Airlines, if you want to order an alcoholic beverage, you can, but you have to be sitting in first class to do so. I don't know what science that is, but I'm also old enough to remember when Ted Cruz was actually chastised for taking him down for drinking a cup of coffee. So very interesting. Oh,
Kim, you didn't hear those little curtains I hear protect first class from COVID now, too. But, Jack, again, you got John Kerry. Supposed to be the climate czar. He's on the National Security Council. He's chiding President Trump for not showing the proper leadership when it comes to wearing masks. And here he is. And it would be one thing if it was just this, but it's him telling America that they need to be carbon neutral when he's flying around on a private plane from his yacht, probably in America. Maybe he's got one in Europe, who knows. But, Jack, what was your reaction when you saw this picture of John Kerry maskless on a plane?
He's the poster child for Democratic elitists. I mean, that's what they are. I agree with Kim. It is about class, but these folks are elitists. They get the power in Washington, D.C., and then they look down upon everyone else. And actions speak louder than words. You see how they live, like you mentioned about John Kerry taking his private jets. I mean, you're going to go out in front of the American people and actually say that you're the climate change czar. And do things like this. I mean, it's despicable, but it really is revealing, and it should be revealing to all Americans that, liberalism is based upon hypocrisy. Every law change, they say that they're all for, equality of all races and all genders and everything else. And you see that they're the ones that are pushing the separatist policies and these segregationist policies. It goes on and on. They're just revealing themselves to America. So I hope in 2022, when we go to that election box, folks remember these type of instances, and we got to keep talking about them loud.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll still be wearing masks when we have to go vote in 2022. And, thank you guys as well for all tweeting out about your appearance here on the show today. If enough people see those tweets, maybe I can afford my own private jet. And you guys are all welcome to come. No masks required. Amanda, do you want to talk about the masks, or do you want to move on to Ron DeSantis?
Well, I always want to talk about Ron DeSantis, but let me say this. He's been flying on his private jet for so long, he's forgotten that, just us little people, even when you sit in first class, John Kerry, you got to mask up. And his excuse was so lame, whatever his explanation was. If you're explaining, you're losing. That's my opinion.
Yep.
But here's the thing. American Airlines, I lay the blame at you. You know who John Kerry is. This is the Boston to D.C. flight. I think he's been on this maybe, thousands of times. And so you knew, and you should have enforced this. There is no reason that he should be treated any differently than anyone else, and that he should not have to mask up.
All right, well, let's talk about Ron DeSantis now. He is pushing back against the liberal media and experts on his decision to reopen the state there. And now even CNN cannot ignore what is happening in Florida a year into the pandemic, and Florida is booming, and Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is taking credit. Kind of a backhanded compliment there, but shouldn't he be taking credit for this after ignoring all the criticism? He followed actual science here when it comes to who are the most vulnerable. He's coming out a winner here, Kim, and, Ron DeSantis is the man of the hour.
No, absolutely. I honestly hope that he considers running for president in 2024, truthfully. But he's done all the right things. He's kept the economy open. I've been back and forth to Florida just because if you have an event these days, you have it in Florida because that's where Americans can go to be free, basically. And right now, he is following the science. We see the numbers are going down. We saw states like Texas and Mississippi remove their mask mandate. Mississippi's numbers are going way down since they've done it. And so, they're just trying to follow the science when it fits their narrative and their agenda. But Governor Ron DeSantis has been doing a great job. And I love the fact that he's even speaking out and saying that he is going to ban unsolicited ballots coming up in the next election cycle. So that's another one where Governor Ron DeSantis is just doing a great job.
Kim, come down and join the team. Jack, Amanda, myself, we're already Florida residents and the land of the free, home of the brave, Governor DeSantis. Now, he is also rejecting Senator Rick Scott's pleas, the former governor, to return the money that Florida got for the COVID relief bill. DeSantis saying that if Florida were to send the money back, Yellen is going to send it to Illinois, California, New York, or New Jersey. And I don't think that would make sense for Floridians. He also says he plans on using $4 billion to reward law enforcement, paramedics, and firefighters for their service with a $1,000 bonus. So, Jack, this is why Florida loves Ron DeSantis. He looks out for the senior citizens, obviously an important part of Florida. He's looking out for the first responders. He knows what his constituents need. He knows what they want.
How refreshing is it to have a leader that actually has common sense? Plain and simple, basic common sense. He doesn't have to be a genius. These things are right in front of our eyes, and Governor DeSantis just looks at things, makes a decision, and he makes it quickly. And anytime you get a reward, it usually takes risk. Ron DeSantis took more risk than almost any other governor other than Kristi Noem in South Dakota. Those two have set themselves up as the leaders of the new Republican Party. But more importantly, they should be the examples of common sense across our nation, not just in our state governments, but also our local governments. We need more politicians to start taking risks that make common sense decisions that actually affect the people. And I'm glad he's keeping the money, because if we look across the board and see that 91% of that $1.9 trillion is going to things that are not COVID related. So I applaud him for taking care of our law enforcement officers and our first responders here in the state of Florida. That's why the state of Florida continues to be the example of what America should be like.
Now, Amanda, too, the other thing he said yesterday is that under no circumstances would Florida schools incorporate critical race theory into its curriculum. And that, was greeted with a roaring round of applause from the crowd. Amanda?
Teachers with $3,000, should they want to teach and be trained to teach, they can. There needs to be civics in schools. Don't get me started. We also need cursive in schools. But it is really important that we do not pit child against child, American against American. That is what the critical race theory does. They are teaching this now at West Point. It is unbelievable how far they've taken this to say you're bad and you need to atone for the sins of your ancestors past. This is not America when you're doing this. But let me say this. What Ron DeSantis did was he didn't take a chance. I'm going to disagree with Jack on that. He actually bet on Floridians. He bet on his people, unlike Democrat governors and mayors who bet against their people. The states with the highest unemployment, Hawaii, Washington, D.C., New York, California, New Mexico, all have one thing in common. Democrat mayors and Democrat governors who bet against their people. They shut down governments, shut down schools, shut down businesses. What did Ron DeSantis do? He empowered Floridians to make
people usually remember these things when they head to the polls. Guys, great to see you. We're going to have you come back.